6 o'clock, and today is the 22nd day of April 2024, and the Oconee County Board of Zoning Appeals will now come to order. First item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Do we have any discussion or any changes? If not, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion carries.
I wasn't here last time.
One abstention.
We have just a brief statement about the rules and procedures for this evening. The applicant will provide a presentation about the needs for the variance for 5 minutes, with the chairman having the ability to extend that if it's needed. Staff will address any additional issues. There'll be a citizen comment period for 5 minutes. We would ask that if one person makes a particular point and somebody else wants to make the same point, that maybe you just indicate that you're approve of what they're saying, or either that or maybe just decide not to even make the comment. It's up to you. We'd like to be able to move the meeting along and not have a lot of redundancy if we can avoid it. The applicant rebuttal and questions from the board members will follow that. And then once we start our deliberations and there's no further input from the audience, that'll be just the board going back and forth unless we have a particular question that we want to have answered. So, and then once we vote on it, then we go from there. We go through a procedure, and there's 4 different questions that we go through, and if any one of the 4 questions should be in the negative, then the variance would be denied. Any questions? Okay. The next item on the agenda is a variance application. Scott Muse is requesting a 7-foot front setback for an attached garage. TMS number is 164-01-01-008 with an address of 17012 Becknell Drive, Seneca, South Carolina, 29672. Would the applicant please come forward and state his name for the record?
Hi, my name is Scott Muse, and this is my wife, Sharon Muse.
Welcome.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. So I would share with you that what we're requesting, as was said by Mr. Eager, is a 7-foot variance to a 25-foot front setback for a new attached garage for our property in Kiwi Point subdivision in Seneca. The plat is in your document package. Our home was built in 1990 by the original owner with a 1-car garage, while the covenants and restrictions for the community require a 2-car garage. All the other homes in the community have at least a 2-car garage. We have owned and lived in this home for over 25 years. We have had to park our 2 cars outside the garage without cover. This has resulted in damage from storms multiple times, as well as requiring much more frequent maintenance. To protect our vehicles while still maintaining the other county setbacks, we submitted a plan for a new garage that requires a 7-foot variance on the 25-foot front setback. The site plan design is in your document package. Kiwi Point is a small subdivision with only 7 homes on Becknell Drive, which is a private one-way circular road. Only 4 other homeowners pass by our home. Our variance request was formally submitted and approved by Jerry Du Bois, the Kiwi Point Architectural Committee representative, who has been in this role for the developer since 1984. The Architectural Committee approval is in your document package also, witnessed and notarized. Our new garage is planned on the north side of our property. Our neighbors since 1998 on the north side of our property, Bob and Mary Stromberg, have provided us with a letter supporting the approval of our variance request. This letter is also included in your document package. We have reviewed our project details with our neighbors, and they have all expressed support, including Mark and Ruth Ann Etter, who are our neighbors on the south side of our property. In closing, I'd like to thank James Coley for his guidance and professionalism in helping us in this process. And we appreciate the zoning board's consideration of our request for a 7-foot variance to the 25-foot setback for a new attached garage. I would also like to introduce Jerry Du Bois, who is the head of the architectural committee for Kiwi Point, who's in attendance with us. And we also have 2 other neighbors that have chosen to attend as well, which is Mark and Cindy Bennett. So that is what I'd like to share with the committee.
Okay, very good. We may have some questions. James, do you have any comments with regard to this?
So I think you laid it out pretty well. The request is for the front setback. This garage is attached, so it is part of the single structure. The request, as shown in your backup, the setback is this dashed line, and this is the 6.5-foot area that would be in the setback, 18.6 to the property line.
Okay.
So this is the request, and he left himself a little bit of play in there with the 7-foot request. And happy to answer any of y'all's questions as well.
How about, does the board have any questions?
What's the square footage of the garage?
The garage is about 1,000 square feet, 1,115, I think. I can give you it specifically.
My question just be around, is there a way to shrink the garage so you're not
Not to achieve the objective of what we're trying to do is house all 3 cars, is what we're trying to do. You know, we only
So you're
have,
building a 2-car garage.
it's a 3-car garage.
You're building a 3-car garage.
That's
and a
correct.
4-car garage altogether.
The other was such a small area that we're actually turning that into just a room within the house now.
Do we have anybody else have any?
I was just curious in terms of the timing. You've lived in a home with 1-car garage for so long, and by what you're saying that you've had a lot of damage to your cars and maintenance and everything, why now?
Well, it's a case where I've now retired, and we're spending a lot more time in the home than we have in the past, and that's what's changed. You know, before, it was a vacation home for us. Now, it's, you know, a primary home for us, so we spend a lot of time in it. So that's the reason why we have, you know, the 3 cars in the same location.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody, any further questions? If not, you may be seated, please. We have one individual has indicated like to speak, Mark Bennett.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. My wife and Cindy and I are here really in support of Scott and Sharon's application. So we are a neighbor further to the south side, so 1 house away from them. And this does, although it does not affect us specifically because we don't generally drive by that house, our property does join the road. And as Scott mentioned, it is a small and very little traveled road, and I don't see that there's any negative impact of this application, so we just wanted to support them and offer that for you. So that's all.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your comments. And anybody else that didn't sign up that would care to say anything? If not, we do have a letter from Robert Stromberg that I'll read. To the Board of Zoning Appeals, subject Scott Muse, 7-foot setback variance for attached garage. My name is Robert Stromberg. My wife Mary and I own and live in the house at 17016 Becknell Drive, next door to Scott. I've known Scott for some 20-plus years, and he is a very conscientious person who does things in one way, in a professional manner. If anyone would be directly affected by the setback request, it would be us. But the renovation he has planned can only enhance the property values of everyone on the street. We encourage you to approve this 7-foot variance setback request. Thank you in advance, Robert Strongberg. And we have also a letter that we received from the Architectural Committee, and it was actually addressed to Sharon E. and Scotty Muse. And it was from Jerry E. Dubois, Architectural Review Committee, subject approval of 7-foot setback variance for an attached garage to the 25-foot setback to the front lot line, as stated in the Oconee County Zoning District site plan requirements. Tax map parcel 164-01-01-008. Deed book is 1025, page 336, Lot 8, Kiowee Point. Dear Scott and Sharon Muse, I am pleased to inform you that your request for a 7-foot setback variance has been reviewed, and as the representative of the Architectural Review Committee of the Kiowee Point Covenants and Restrictions, after reviewing the complete set of architectural and construction plans, the completion of on-site inspection and a review of the proposed plan for an attached garage, your variance request has been approved. This setback variance applies only to the specific area requested, the front property line. I trust you will proceed with your project in accordance with the approved variance, and should you have any questions or require further clarification, please do not hesitate to contact the Architectural Review Committee. We look forward to seeing the positive enhancements to your property, and signed Jerry E. Dubois, and it's witnessed and so forth with some additional signatures. With that, okay, what is the board's pleasure? Do you have a motion? Let me get back here. We've gone through that. Applicant. Do we have anything, any comments or anything before we start our procedure? If not, the first item on the agenda, or on the questions, there are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to the particular piece of property. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous. These conditions do not generally apply to other property in the vicinity. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Because of these conditions, the application of this chapter to the particular piece of property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
The authorization of a variance will not be of substantial detriment to adjacent use or to the public good, and the character of the district will not be harmed by the granting of the variance. Do we have a motion in the affirmative?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion? No discussion, all in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Based on the evidence presented to the board, do I hear a motion that the proposed variance be approved?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion? No discussion, all in favor? Aye. Motion carries. You have your variance.
Thank you very much.
But it would be easier to just sell those other two cars.
I told him that,
Do we have-
my son likes one.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.